It's Wednesday, and it's the first Wednesday of the spring season of 2025.
And we are so excited to bring a spring recipe.
Yes. So for those of you that are new, welcome. We are so happy you're here. My name is Kat. I'm a dietitian.
And I'm Stephanie, and I'm a speech pathologist.
And we are here to help people with swallowing disorders improve their nutrition first and foremost.
Yes.
Which sounds weird saying, because I'm a nutritionist, and so of course that's what I would want to do first and foremost. But from a speech therapy perspective...
That's not usually what I would say is first and foremost.
Right.
But I am saying that is first and foremost. Because my new saying is, the swallow will follow if you get your nutrition maximized at the level that you are.
Right.
So whatever level you're at.
Yeah.
I finished.
Hi, Angela. Okay. I just wanted to tag everyone.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Let's see how long it takes to show up.
Frozen.
Okay.
We're frozen in time.
Hi, Angela. It's so nice to see you. For those of you that are here, please say hi if you want to.
Yes, please say
Talking is
hi.
hard,
Tell us
apparently.
where you're watching from.
Yes.
Because we like to know. We're just
do.
a little bit nosy.
We are.
But
sometimes we get people from the UK, sometimes Australia, all over the US. It's kind of fun. Canada. Great minds think alike. So, Steph.
gotta fix that.
What are we making today? Hi, Katie Lynn.
One of my favorite dishes is called chicken piccata.
I'm also
And
a huge
so we are making a Dysphagia chicken piccata.
fan. I love this. So when you and I first started working together in the nursing home 8-ish years ago, can't believe it was that long ago. Kara says, I need that sweater. It was a gift from my mama for my birthday. This is the first time I'm getting to wear it, Kara, so thank you. I'm very excited. Dallas, Georgia. Where else we got? Okay.
The land of the midnight sun.
So when you and I first started working together, the goal was to try to figure out how we could make some of the recipes from the facility to be more dysphagia appropriate without them feeling like they were dysphagia style meals.
Right. Like pureed blobs of...
Correct. So I remember us doing like BLT casserole instead of BLTs because BLTs are hard to eat.
Right.
And they're hard to make, by the way.
Connecticut.
I love it. Connecticut. Okay. Chicken piccata, one of your favorite things. Okay. So I'm going to turn on the stove here. We have a couple of different ingredients that we're going to add, like...
It's still doing it.
Kale.
So this is what we're calling a chicken piccata casserole, because it's all kind of a one pot thing, which is easier to make than chicken piccata.
Yep.
I've got to finish.
So traditional chicken piccata, you take your chicken breast, you do, I don't know if you do an egg wash, but you definitely dredge it in flour.
You fry it, yeah.
And then you fry it, yes. And we used to want to eat your faves too. Yes, because it's delicious, right? So it's got all these different components. So you do pasta, you do the dredged fried chicken, and then you make this beautiful buttery sauce, and then you put it all together. So this is a one-pan meal. So the recipe calls for us to toss the chicken. We're cheaters. And we're using rotisserie chicken because easy. Because
we can, and we had it, and you may have it too, so use it to your advantage.
Absolutely.
It's actually less expensive to purchase a rotisserie chicken than it is to purchase a raw chicken.
Yep. So we're going to start with some butter. Okay, so we have some butter that Stephanie cut. I'm going to just take a couple of wedges, like 2 tablespoons. I'm going to throw these in the pan to get them to start to melt. We don't want to brown this butter. So we're going to just keep a close eye on it. So with this meal, because it's spring, there's a lot of late flu, colds, allergies going around. This can be problematic.
Yes. Allergies are terrible here right now. I had to change my nasal spray, my allergy spray, to a different spray because they're so bad this year.
It wasn't working.
It wasn't working, and I needed to find something because I'm miserable.
So slices of lemon, butter. We're going to just put these bad boys in here and let them get super fragrant and delicious. I'm going to turn the pan down to like low, medium, low.
And that is going to sort of brown that lemon flavor into the butter, which is going to give it an amazing flavor.
Yes. Oh, look at that.
One more. Perfect.
Perfect. Okay. So,
Wow, that is perfect.
and then we have leftover lemon if we need to do any over the top for extra flavor, which we might need. So this recipe calls for kale, and you have chopped kale, triple wash, so we don't need to wash it. But here's the deal. When you buy kale like this, it has these stems in it. So you need to go through it and pick these stems out.
Yes, because that's going to be a bit woody.
And they are not going to cook down very well. They're hard, okay? So I picked through our kale, and then I'm going to ask a favor of you.
Yeah.
Would you douse this with a little bit of olive oil and salt and pepper?
Yes.
And I'm going to teach them how to massage the kale and then explain why. So one of the reasons I love this recipe, we're changing it from the original, is because it's got all these extra anti-inflammatory components to it, right? So we have the kale, which is a really, really powerful green that has a lot of nutrition in it.
Did you say salt and pepper?
Yes. We have lemon, which is an antioxidant, and it has all these beautiful antioxidant properties. Garlic, which we talk about being good for blood pressure and good for infection, inflammation. It's antibacterial. Okay, so why did I just have her do this? Massaging the kale, how pampering. Yes, so listen up. Because kale is a tough green, right? It does not break down easy. So we're gonna massage it.
So what massaging it will do is just make it softer, and it will cook down much softer and easier for you to be able to blend.
So it's got these little tiny ribs in it, right? Some of those we don't need to take out. We just need to break down these fibers. And so that they will cook faster, they will be easier to chew and to digest. So those of you that have some trouble digesting kale, this is gonna help.
You could choose spinach instead.
You could, absolutely.
Which is a softer green.
Yep. Okay, and I'm just gonna, you don't have to be gentle, right? We're just breaking these up. Would you grab the garlic press?
Yes.
I didn't quite get all of them peeled. I must have gotten distracted.
Imagine that.
We've been chatting away.
We haven't, yes. Kat's been gone for a week, so we had a lot to catch up on.
Yes. So, all right, this kale is going to be nice. We want it to look almost wilted, like it's been cooked. So this recipe started out using olive oil and cooking the chicken in the pan. Well, we don't need to do that because our chicken's already cooked. So I just took that olive oil, poured it on this beautiful kale, and we're just going to basically rub it to death. This is also how you make kale chips for those of you that are caregivers and want to add some extra nutrition into your diet. You just put this on a sheet pan in the oven and just cook it at like 250 degrees until it's a little bit crispy. Okay, so now I'm going to wash my hands. These lemons are beautiful. I'm going to wash and then flip them. So we know in the spring, many people have allergies, and their inflammation is high because of what's in the air. There's lots of pollen, there's lots of dust, there's lots of rain. So we have to do what we can to decrease inflammation in our bodies. And part of the concern with that is that those of you with dysphagia really struggle with inflammation anyway, and then you have the added stress of allergies or a late season cold or whatever going on. So we need to add some of these fresh ingredients. And when I say fresh, it could be frozen. Like we could be using frozen spinach and that would be fine. But we want these whole foods. So kale is ready to go. I'm going to flip these lemons. And then we're going to take them out.
Let me show them.
Yep.
So we're just kind of browning these lemons.
Yep. So, and they smell really, really lovely. And then some of you are like, you cook lemons?
Yes. Heck yeah.
You can grill these. You can, whatever you need to do. We're just getting flavor out of these.
I'm so excited about this.
Yeah. Okay. So after, actually, I'm going to turn it up a little bit more, back to 2. Okay. So here in a minute, we're going to take the lemons out and we're going to set them aside. And then we're going to add our pasta. So this is
Couscous.
I almost said what the recipe called for, and then I stopped myself.
So the recipe that we have calls for orzo. I don't have orzo, nor did I make it to the store today to get orzo. So we're using couscous. So we'll see which one is better.
So we want you to realize that you can substitute different ingredients based on what you have at home. You don't necessarily need to get something different.
Right.
We have couscous here.
So it was calling for a very small pasta, which couscous is a very small pasta. So you choose. I think we've never blended couscous before
We haven't
either.
I'm really excited to try this. So Katie Lynn said, when you cook the lemons that way, are the peels edible? I would say yes.
Yeah.
People have eaten much.
I mean, you can do lemon peel.
Yeah, and we eat it. Yeah. The pith is going to be a little on the bitter side, so I don't know. I'll try one later and tell you how it is. Okay, so we're going to take the lemons out. As soon as we take the lemons out, we're going to smash the garlic into that pan and add the couscous to that pan, and we're going to let it brown just a little bit.
Okay.
Because we want the toasted flavor in the pasta. We don't want to brown it so much that it doesn't blend well. So we're just going to get a little tiny bit of color on it, just a little bit. It will smell probably toasted before you notice the color change. So we really want you paying attention to your sense of smell, because that sensory piece is really, really important when you're cooking and eating, and for those of you that have trouble with swallowing.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Okay, let's do this. All right. It already smells so good. Okay, as you have other questions, please shoot them through the comments and let us know what questions you have. So after we throw this in, we're still going to need a little bit of butter for the sauce, so we still have more butter here. Okay.
Okay. So our lemons are browned.
Okay. And I turned the heat back down to low. I'm going to take our little spatula again. And I'm going to stir.
Can you scrape it off? I'll get that.
Scrape
out
the
there.
garlic off. Yep. We want all that garlic to
Two
get
more.
incorporated. And so most of you, if you've ever used couscous before, you're probably like, you have to cook that before you put it in there. We want that flavor on here too. So technically you could use rice to do this also.
You absolutely
If you didn't want to use pasta. And you would do the same process here. You would add the rice raw to your pan and just get it a little bit brown, because this is all flavor. We want flavor. Okay. Do you think we should hit this with a little bit of salt and pepper while it's
Yes.
browning? Oh, you smell that already?
Yes, I can.
The garlic is already getting fragrant. We have it on
my.
low so that it doesn't brown or burn. Lovely, lovely. Okay, so from here, we're gonna add our white wine. So I had a leftover bottle. I usually buy wine and stick it in the fridge to use for cooking. So this is all that's left of my bottle. So,
But I keep a little thing of this kind of wine
Yep.
in my fridge or in the cabinet for if I ever need wine to cook with.
Yep.
Because you don't always have just a little bit left.
Yes. No.
And if you don't drink wine, that's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to drink wine, but getting the little bottles just to cook with is a great idea.
For the flavor.
Yes. It will cook down. The alcohol will cook out.
Yes. Especially with how long we're going to cook this, because this is this is like the third step we're doing for this recipe. So I just want this to toast for another minute before I put this in here. Thank you.
I'm going to give you just a little more heat for that.
Okay. I agree. It needs a little bit.
As long as we're watching it.
Yeah.
We have a tendency to not watch what
I walk
we have.
away.
Well,
I think in one of our recipes that in our new cookbook that's out, it's on our website, dysphagiaduo.com. I think I put in the recipe, do not walk away because I tend to walk away. Okay.
Yeah, so the cookbook's out. It's on our website.
Woohoo!
Dysphagiaduo.com. You go to the shops tab and it's in there. So if anyone's interested,
Go check it out.
yeah. We're going to be putting a coupon out for it.
Yes.
So
Be on the lookout. We'll post it in the group first because
Yep.
you all are our favorite. We love you. We are
absolutely. You are our first priority, so
Yep.
you will get first dibs at the coupon for the cookbook.
Okay, so after we put the white wine in, we're gonna let that cook just a little bit. And then we're gonna add our kale, our capers, and our broth.
Did we measure how much capers does it call for?
I didn't, I usually just like, but we'll.
I know, but
we'll,
let's follow
so
the
the recipe says 2 tablespoons.
Okay.
Okay, throwing in the wine. Oh yeah, that's gonna cook out really fast. And then we have chicken broth over here underneath my right elbow that we're gonna add as well. So if you have a wooden spoon, I'm gonna recommend a wooden spoon over our spatula because you wanna get some of the flavor off the bottom of the pan. So you just wanna scrape it a little bit with your wooden spoon because that stuff on the bottom of the pan is called fond, F-O-N-D, and it's full of flavor. It already smells like piccata in here. Okay, I'm throwing in the kale. So this was 8 cups of shredded kale. And it's just going to wilt down a little
And
bit.
we've already broken it down because Kat massaged it.
So I would massage kale for a salad, even if you're not going to cook it. I would massage kale for just about anything you're going to use it for, especially if you have dysphagia and you're not sure you can tolerate it, but you're on like a minced and moist. If we can cook it really, really, really well after we've massaged it and broken down all those fibers, it's gonna, it's just going to be
Even softer and
Much
easier
softer.
to blend.
yes. Okay.
I didn't put this in my mortar, but
You want to throw those bad boys in here and we'll see
Yeah.
if we can.
I'll just use this. Thank
Okay.
you. We'll break these down.
Yeah.
I was just going to mortar and pestle this, but I think
Don't work so hard. We'll have other things we'll work hard for now.
absolutely. Or you could even just take a fork on a plate and break them down
Mash it.
some.
Absolutely.
There you go. Good.
Okay. All right.
Good. What kind of questions do you guys have?
Yeah.
The comments are slowing down. Let's
Have-
get some.
Have you heard of piccata? Is my first question.
So Megan has it.
Yep.
It's one of her
Yep.
favorites.
Kara
so,
said the same thing.
Okay, and Kara. So we're hopefully, Megan, we can show you how to blend
it.
this up
Yep.
and enjoy one of your favorite things again.
Yes. Okay. Capers are. Oh, we need the broth. It got a little bit. So the recipe originally called for 3 cups, but because
1.5.
Oh, yeah, 1.5. Sorry. The recipe originally called for 1.5 cups.
Yep.
But when we're making dysphagia style recipes,
we always overdo the liquid because we want extra sauce.
always. So I'm just adding all of it.
So that was 4 cups.
Okay.
So we've added 4 cups.
Almost 3 times the normal amount of broth. Okay.
Just so that we have it nice and...
Yep. I'm going to turn it up to about
juicy.
medium. We're just going to let this come up to temperature. So make sure I don't miss anything here. This pasta is going to need to simmer. The sizzle sounds lovely. Yes. Andrew would love to make it. Yes, you'll have to have him try it. I agree. I will be questioning. Kale, capers, broth is in. We are going to season with salt and pepper throughout this process because we know that when we season in layers, it has better developed flavor at the end. Let me move this out of your way so you have enough room. Okay. So this says, add your broth, your kale, your capers, and the remaining 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Well, we don't quite work the same way with the salt, which is why I just added that statement. Bring it to a boil, and then we're going to add in the chicken, the lemon slices, and if there's any juices, if you are using raw chicken, and you do the chicken first before you do this part, you take it out of the pan, you want to add all of those juices back to the pan because that's flavor. We like flavor. So it's about 1 pound of chicken that we want to add into this. Okay.
And the recipe calls for chicken thighs. But because we have a rotisserie chicken, and rotisserie chicken typically has fairly moist breasts.
Yeah. Yep.
We're going to go ahead and add that as well.
Okay. So we're going to play the waiting game a little bit. Well, we're waiting for this to come up while you're chopping. So let's talk about sensory.
Let's talk about sensory.
Because when your inflammation is high, typically your sensory is off.
Everything feels different when you are inflamed.
Yes. So it could be that your sense of smell is either high or low. So you might be not able to smell what you're cooking. It may be that when you're eating, your throat is scratchy and you feel everything and it's uncomfortable or painful. So it could be just a runny nose from allergies. It could be that cough or cold or flu. It could be that you have reflux for one reason or another, and you're tasting things that shouldn't be there. Or maybe you have something else going on, like an autoimmune that is now exacerbated because of the time of year, the pollen, the wind, the dust, the rain, whatever. So in your mind, what do we do for that sensory piece? Whether it's that feeling things you're not necessarily supposed to feel, or it could be temporary or permanent. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think having an understanding of what's causing that sensory change is important. So if you have a feeling that it's inflammation, then you need to try to consume things that are anti-inflammatory.
Yes.
Another thing that I recommend is the sensory challenge that I recommend to people often, and that's the alternating sensations. So hot and cold, sour and sweet. So that all of those mucous membranes, all of your taste buds, everything is getting that distinct difference, so it can start to understand the difference between those big differences.
Yeah. So
because when your sensory system is in overdrive, it's hard to, this I didn't want. Okay. Is this about 1 pound? I don't know how to judge a pound.
We're
More?
probably pretty close. You could do a little bit more.
Okay.
I should be better at judging that.
I have no idea. I could pull out a scale.
That's all right. Most of you are not going to have a scale. Although if you need a scale, we can post one that we often use just on Amazon because they're kind of handy to have around. Especially for something like this. How do you know how much a pound of chicken is?
Yeah.
Unless you buy exactly a pound at the store.
True, and I think that's the intention. I think that's why they said a pound, because that's how you purchase it.
Yeah, so general rule of thumb for portioning proteins is that a deck of cards is about a 3-ounce portion size. Now, that's general rule of thumb. If you're a larger person, you may need more than 3 ounces of meat per meal. If you're a vegetarian or a vegan, you're going to choose more like soy, like tofu, for example. Okay. Oh, we're boiling. So I'm going to add these lemons back to the pan.
Oh, I didn't change it to.
That's okay. 454 grams is 1 pound. Don't ask me why I know that. We're about halfway there. This smells really good. So the kale has that anti-inflammatory fiber. So fiber is really, really important. Fiber is also really hard to eat when you have dysphagia. It does not go down well. It's very textured. It creates a lot of sensory input.
And it makes people very nervous.
It does. And so we have to figure out ways to get it in smoother. So massaging it first and foremost. And then we're just going to cook it. I need to turn this down still. This burner is very aggressive.
It's the hottest one on the stove, yes.
Which is good because we do want our pasta to cook. And this pasta will take about 10 minutes to cook at a boil, and we have it at a simmer, so it might take longer. And remember, anytime you're doing pasta, when you have dysphagia, we want you to overcook it and add extra liquid because we want to get it soft.
The smaller the pasta, the easier it will be to get it to that point.
Yeah. So orzo is an option. You could use mini shells. You could do like angel hair pasta or break your angel hair pasta into small pieces. There are a lot of small pasta options that you could use for this. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to stop at this
Yeah, that's good.
because
That's good.
it's close.
Yeah. Okay. So this has us bake. Put this in the oven and bake it. We're not going to do that. We're just going to finish it on the stove. Because it turns out you can also alter a recipe if you know kind of what you're looking for. So my goal, and Stephanie's goal with these Cooking with Kat and Steph videos, is that we empower you to do these things. You learn how to do them if you don't know how to do them already. So we don't need to put this in the oven. All right.
And oftentimes putting things in the oven to finish them will crisp them up, will crisp up the top, which is great if you can handle that.
Right.
But if you can't handle that and you're going to be pureeing it to get it as smooth as possible, just take it straight from the stovetop.
Yep.
It will be fully cooked.
Yep. Okay. Let's throw the chicken in here. Beautiful. So this chicken is about soft and bite-sized. So this meal should be an IDDSI level 6 to start with at this level. So we want it to have lots of sauce because anytime we're talking dysphagia diets, we want extra moisture in all of the food. What does extra moisture do, Steph, for that sensory piece?
So it's going to help. So any time you have difficulty swallowing, you have to make sure that those mucous membranes are
Moist.
very hydrated.
Yeah.
And if you have difficulty getting hydration in to begin with,
Yep.
it's going to be that much more important that the things that you eat are fully hydrated, are nice and moist, wet.
Full of liquid, full of fluid, because you may have trouble drinking.
So what happens is that the muscles and the mucous membranes of swallowing have to kind of rub on each other to move things down. And if you're dehydrated and or you're swallowing something that's dry, it will be that much harder to move it through the system. So that's why we overdo the liquid in our recipes, so that we're sure to provide a substance that's easier to move through the swallowing system.
Yes. So I even made a comment today saying that I'm the dietitian and I'm always the one preaching hydration. And I told you today I'm failing at staying hydrated today. Failing.
She did.
And she looked at me like, "Who are you?" And I was just like, "Well, I'm having a rough time. I was traveling on Monday. My muscles are angry with me. So I'm just not getting enough water in to flush my system out. And it's hard. So when you're already dry, it's even harder to get more fluids in because you're already dry. So we want you to just keep at it. Keep your drink with you at all times so that you are staying as hydrated as possible." Okay. This is bubbling away nicely, but not boiling. And if you need to add more liquid to this, it's okay, you can. We want you to eat anti-inflammatory foods. So if you can find whole wheat pasta, or we have used recently like chickpea pasta or lentil pasta.
Yeah.
Those have higher fiber and are whole foods, and so they are going to have more anti-inflammatory benefits than just your traditional pasta.
But you have to cook them longer.
You do.
Because they are a little more
Fibrous.
and tough.
And they often have more protein than traditional pasta because they're made with lentils and chickpeas, which have more protein. So you do have to cook them longer.
Yeah.
But they are going to be higher of anti-inflammatory benefit. So this may be a dish that you give yourself an hour to cook instead of half an hour because you want to cook it a little bit longer. Okay. Shall we taste it to see how the flavor is?
Yes, you should.
It smells like chicken. Imagine that. I see the garlic in this broth.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. I cannot wait to eat. Wow.
I think it needs more capers, but I just like them a lot.
Well, let's get more capers. Where are they?
How do you feel about that?
I always like more capers.
So capers have a little bit of a bite to them. I think they're brined in vinegar.
Where did I put them?
We use them all?
There's no way.
I do not know.
I will find them. If not, I have more. I found them.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. I'm going to throw a few more into our little dish here. And this is the thing. If you taste it and you're like, oh, it could use more lemon or it could use more capers, throw more in. This is why we like to taste the broth.
Yes.
I got a caper in the middle there.
Oops.
Okay.
And the pasta had quite a bit more cooking than it needed. So.
I noticed that as well.
But I kind of like the couscous.
Do you?
Yes. I think it's going to be a...
Personally, I think couscous is a very underrated pasta.
Yes.
I'm a huge fan. And I also don't know that I would call this a casserole.
It's not... Well, it's not.
You know what I mean?
But
Yes.
but it is.
It is.
It is, but it isn't.
We're not throwing it in the oven, so there's that piece. We are gonna have to fish those lemon wedges out of there, but that's fine. We'll do that before we alter the texture. Okay, what questions do you all have about inflammation, about sensory? What is it that you're feeling about this dish, about nutrition? I love that this dish has protein. I love that it has plenty of fiber. I love that it has the carbs from the pasta because we need energy, and carbs are great for energy while protein is great for healing and rebuilding muscle. So for those of you that are in a healing stage, we need to get enough protein into you. If you're vegetarian, that's fine. We can work on getting in things like tofu instead of chicken. You could do beans, lentils, chickpeas. Can the capers puree well? I think, Karen, I would say no. But because we're cooking them in with the pasta, it should puree smoothly because they're not super hard. So if you look at them, they're fairly soft. They are a little bit tough, but they should puree pretty well. We just need to make sure they're cooked well enough that they do. We haven't pureed capers before, so we're kind of excited to see how this goes because we understand that you may not necessarily want to puree something because you've never tried it before and you don't know how it's going to go and you don't want to waste things. But that's why we want to do it for you. So Kara says, what are your thoughts on sea moss for inflammation? I saw it at Sprouts today. So that's really interesting. I know several people that take sea moss. Have you heard of this?
No.
So sea moss is basically seaweed.
Yeah.
That's powdered.
Okay.
And people take it in tea. They add it as a supplement. They get it in their diets in different ways because what do we know about seaweed? It's high in nutrition. Mm-hmm. It's typically higher in omega-3 fats, just like other sea vegetables and seafood. It's got good fiber in it, and it's full of micronutrients. So all of those little minerals and vitamins that are so good for you. Mm-hmm. So I think if you can get sea moss into your diet, great. It's going to be very helpful for inflammation. It has a strong flavor.
That makes sense.
Nori, which is the seaweed that they use for sushi, has a strong flavor. I use kombu seaweed, Kombu, when I cook beans because it helps break down the starch and so people are less gassy when they eat them. It's not as strong of a flavor, but there are other kinds of seaweed. They still have strong flavor, but they're really, really beneficial. There's a kind of red seaweed. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's really high in iron. So we recommend it for people who are anemic. I'll have to look it up. If one of you reach out to me later, remind me about the red seaweed and I will look it up. Do we need to be careful with sea moss due to iodine, thyroid stuff? That's a good question. I don't know how much sodium is in it.
You would think it would be?
I will have to do more research on that because that I do not know. Yeah, that's a good one. Come back to me, Megan, and I will find out that information for you. These are really good questions. Keep them coming, everybody. We want more whole foods and less processed if we can. Now, you'll notice this meal is a combination of whole foods and processed foods because we can make improvements by decreasing the amount of processed food. But some is still okay because convenience is one of those things that also decreases stress.
So let's talk about what's processed in it.
Yeah, the pasta.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's it.
So if you chose rice instead of pasta,
That'd be a great option.
it would be a great option.
Yeah.
You could choose any kind of
I was thinking
whole grain.
barley. If you can handle a little more texture, something like quinoa.
I feel like one of my favorite grains is called farro.
Oh, would be.
I think that would be really good in this.
It totally would. Yes. So the other thing you can do is you can get whole wheat pasta. You just have to cook it longer. It's going to have a little bit of a stronger flavor, but some people like that. Some people don't.
It's still processed,
It is.
but it's whole wheat.
But it's got more fiber and more protein
Sure.
than the other version.
But as a whole, this meal is less processed than something that you would get at a drive-thru.
100%.
A lot less.
Because we know what ingredients are in this meal.
Correct.
As opposed to if we go to a restaurant,
Yep.
there is a laundry list. Like if you think like Chick-fil-A, for example, the chicken sandwich. You know how many ingredients are in just that chicken breast on that chicken sandwich?
I know that there's powdered sugar
It's astounding.
in Chick-fil-A chicken.
Yes.
Powdered sugar, folks.
Astounding. Yeah. There's dozens of ingredients in just the chicken breast. And then the bun has dozens and dozens of ingredients. So when we're talking about cutting back on processed, we're still having processed pasta with this, but the rest of our ingredients, the garlic, the lemon, the kale, we didn't add onion.
The chicken is processed too because it's a rotisserie.
Yeah, technically, yeah. But I would still prefer that over,
Sure.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
So we can't fully get away from process. And I'm not here to tell you it's bad to eat processed food. We just need to swap out things where we can to decrease your inflammation.
Yep.
Okay. Saw something about iodine. Maybe, I think, so I would love to hear what your doctor says, Kara. Yeah. I would love to hear. Mm-hmm. And I have a dietitian friend that does low iodine. So I will maybe reach out to her on Facebook and send her a message and see what her thoughts are also.
Yeah.
You never know. You never know. Okay. This is...
It was getting close last time I tasted.
Yeah. Most of our liquid is starting to dissipate. So I'm going to cut up this butter and stir it in just for that beautiful texture. So why do we like butter? Well, this is also good, super good quality butter. Butter is processed, right?
New Zealand butter.
But
You can make your own butter too. All you have to do is,
it's a lot of work.
not that much.
It could be more. Yes. Okay. So I'm just going to throw this butter in here. We're going to stir it in. Because we want to increase the texture, the velvety texture that the butter is going to give this. Sensory, right?
Yep. And it's going to make it easier to blend it.
Yes. And that's really important. And for those of you that need calories to go with your protein, butter is going to help with that. If you can't do butter, can you try something like olive oil or avocado oil or coconut oil or something along that line? Okay. This is looking really good, Steph.
I think it's ready to, honestly, it's ready to blend because the
do it.
pasta is nice and soft.
Okay, let's do it. And these lemons are so soft, they're falling apart. So I am gonna pull as many of them out as I can without trying to take out other ingredients. When the last time you tasted it, how was the salt level on it?
The salt is fine. The capers
perfect.
gave it a good bit of salt as well.
Fantastic. So these lemons, I'm like fishing them out of here because they're so tender that they're falling apart.
Yeah, the salt is plenty good. There was, oh yeah.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
I think I got all of them. I guess if we scoop one up, we'll pull it out at that time.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so why lemon? So we like the white wine because it's a little bit acidic. All of the alcohol has cooked out of it at this point. And then we like the lemon because it's also acidic. I know some of you are like, I can't have acid, but we're not adding enough to increase your acid. We're trying to add it so it brightens flavor. So that is going to be our soft and bite size.
You want to put a little bit in your...
Yeah. Oh, I guess I need to have the blade in there so that... Okay. Beautiful. We'll do minced and moist in our little tiny food processor. So I was talking about inflammation. So lemon is one of those really powerful anti-inflammatory citrus fruits. We don't want you eating a ton, especially if you have reflux, but the nice balance that the lemon is going to give this is going to brighten that flavor, especially when it has kale in it. It's going to help brighten everything. So we really like a little bit of acid in all our food.
Just a little.
Just a little. Okay. Okay. That did not take very much. What do you think? Is that good?
Yeah.
Or should I give it one more pulse?
Maybe one more. I see a couple of...
Larger pieces? Okay. When in doubt, blend again. Blend again, blend again. Okay. Oh, it's so delightful. So our kale is not blending up super well. So that's not going to quite be minced and moist. So I'm just going to pull that piece out. Okay, the rest of these look pretty good. Oh, this is hot. Okay. Minced and moist. Soft and bite-sized. I'm going to turn this off.
Might need a little bit more.
And for those of you that are watching closely, Stephanie did not close the lid all the way on that because when you're blending something hot, it increases the pressure in your blender, so you need to have a vent. So we like the Ninja Blast because you can open the top and release that pressure. Okay. Get the liquid all down to the bottom so it doesn't get jammed. And then we'll have pureed chicken piccata. So let's talk about the difference between pureed and smooth. Because this is a common misconception. So pureed does not mean smooth.
Correct.
When you're pureeing something, pureed means that it will sit on a spoon and like fall off in a clump.
It means that you don't have to chew at all.
Right.
There's no requirement.
You move it with your tongue. Or if you put pureed on a fork, it doesn't drip through the tines of the fork. Liquidized is more along that smooth level. So liquidized, that looks so good.
It's pretty smooth.
It does look pretty smooth. I'm excited to try this. Oops.
Now, if you need liquidized, you could add a little bit more of the liquid. Now, we added double the amount of liquid, almost double.
Mm-hmm. And it needed it. I think it needed it in general.
And yes, so when we do this, we're going to write the recipe differently.
This one will probably be in our next cookbook. Just saying. Okay.
Oh, that's so good.
Okay, so is not dripping off, so this is going to be a good pureed. Anytime you're pureeing starches, so pasta, rice, bread, etc. Steph's going to like the puree version better, my hypothesis. She knows you so well.
You know me so well.
This is really good. And that lemon flavor is not overpowering.
But it really comes through. Mm-hmm. It's very springy tasting. And very bright.
And that's because those lemons got sauteed. We didn't add a ton of juice, right? So it was whatever juice came out of the lemon slices. Oh, that puree is so
Kara,
good.
you are not wrong. I think I do like it. Puree better. It blended so smooth. I am surprised at how smooth it is because chicken is one of the harder things to puree, especially since we use some of the breast.
Yeah. So the flavor is fantastic in all of them. I get more of the lemon in the puree.
I agree.
Which I like a lot. Mm-hmm. And the thing I worry about is that the pieces can kind of fall apart in your mouth for anyone that has trouble with the coordination.
Holding it all together. Mm-hmm.
So I would say if you have trouble with the coordination, you should go more for the minced and moist. Because the soft and bite size does require more chewing. Mm-hmm. And if you're concerned about the kale, use spinach.
The spinach will do your soft and bite size and minced and moist better. Mm-hmm. But I think you can still see that it's kind of speckly, but I don't feel it at all.
Right.
Sensory wise, I don't feel it at all.
Okay. Anti-inflammatory. We really have to focus on that sensory texture piece for a lot of you. I've heard a lot this week of people having trouble initiating a swallow. And sometimes I think that's related to the sensory piece also, especially in some of our younger people.
Yes, it could. So that tells me, so it could be that you're hyposensitive, so you don't feel it enough to be able to initiate the swallow. But sometimes the brain is trying to protect you and saying, wait, not yet, wait, not yet, wait, not yet.
Your brain is trying to protect you, and sometimes it lies to you to do that.
It does.
Okay, so this is a win. Whenever you're blending meats or proteins, notice we do something consistently every time. For you, those of you that are new, I'm just going to tell you what that is. We added a starch, which is the pasta, and we added fat, which is the butter. And technically, we put a bunch of olive oil on the kale also.
We did.
So there was enough starch and enough fat with our protein to blend it smooth.
Yes. Now, again, I would say that is a good, solid, pureed level.
It's beautiful.
But if you need liquidize, if you need level 3 instead of 4, add a little bit more liquid. You could add chicken stock. You could add just plain water. Whatever it is that you need to add in there. If you don't have more chicken stock, just add a little bit of salted water. Not a lot salted because your capers and all of the other things, if you've seasoned along the way, you may not need a lot of salt.
That's why we want you to try the broth when it's cooking to make sure the seasoning.
Man, so good.
What about 2? So fat and starch. So you need to add a starch and you need to add a fat whenever you're blending meat. Those are the 2 things.
And more water, more liquid.
More liquid.
So Megan, you absolutely can bring it down to a 2. It's just going to take more liquid. And add it little bits at a time until it gets to the point where you can tolerate it.
I'm glad you knew what she was talking about because that totally went right over my head. Sorry
That's
about
right.
that. Yeah. Okay. Anti-inflammatory. Everything we're going to talk about the sensory with. I'm really glad we talked about some of that sensory stuff today because I think it makes people nervous.
Yeah, so I've been super sensitive lately, not necessarily with my swallowing, but all of this change of season. I am in hyper sensitive mode. Everything, my whole body, everything feels hypersensitive. So that's why I kind of said this morning, let's talk about sensory, because my sensory mechanism is in overdrive right now. So I'm sure for some of you, it's the same way. You're feeling things that you don't like feeling. So we need to bring down the inflammation. We need to talk about the nutritional, or we need to help you get to the nutritional component that will help bring down some of that excessive inflammation.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Any last questions before we head out for the day? We'll be back next week.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes.
We are so excited that the change of season is coming and that
the plants are starting to grow, the things are starting to turn green, knowing that this is also going to make me sneeze.
Yes. I've started my garden in the greenhouse, so get ready, folks. We're gonna have a lot of fun, good garden things for you this summer.
I can't wait. It's going to be fantastic. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week, Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. right here in Dysphagia Support for Nutrition and Swallowing.
Have a great week. Bye.